Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are we this morning? How are we doing? Am I in? Am I on? I think so. All right, let's get it on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I think I'm good. Let's wait for you all to come in this morning. Morning. That's Sophie, I'm guessing. There's no name on it. Is that Sophie? It's just some pink hearts. Or is it Julia? Not sure. Let's guess. Julia, that's it. Good to see you. How are you doing? So we want to check in and see how our motivation's going. It's Sophie. Oh dear. And you with the pink hearts, I should know, shouldn't I? And I haven't seen you this week, Sophie. You must have been busy, have you? Yeah? But how's all the squat challenge going, everyone? We're all doing that? Yes? Good. I think, the vibe on the app this week has been really good. It's been really positive. I love those ideas yesterday. They're just simple ideas, but they really do make a massive difference, don't they, to what we're eating. Just have those few little spicy stuff on there and a few ideas that we can go to. I do like, there are some lovely croutons in where are they? In Waitrose. They're like little cheesy croutons, and I just allow myself sometimes a few of those on my salad as well, and they're really lovely. They're not particularly clean, but they're not too bad. They are vegan actually, so they obviously haven't got loads of rubbish in there. Feeling the squats in your knees today? It's a bit of a write-off with work. Okay. Oh, okay. And so who's feeling the squats with knees? Because it doesn't come up. You need to accept StreamYard. It asks you sometimes if you can accept as somebody, and then I can see your name. So you just have to put your initial after a comment if you. So feeling the squats in my knees today, right? Okay. So where can we do this? Is there some way you can do a different type of squat? So what squats? If you're in water, you can do it. If you're doing aqua, squats in aqua is really good. But if you are feeling the pressure, take the squats out today. You can always do an extra day next week. It's a different challenge next week, but you can always make up rather than push through and have upset knees. But different type of squats. What you could do. You could do a different angle, so you could do them sort of like lying on your back, these type of squats, because they're still working with your bum close to your feet. So we could do those because she's kind of in that similar angle of like where you push in and out. You can do them actually against the wall, so you can put your feet against the wall and push yourself up. I'm not going to do it to put footprints on the wall. But you can push your feet into the wall and lift your back up like that as you go onto that to make a different type of squat. So maybe changing the angles of your squat. Yes, stability ball against the wall as well. Yeah, your hips will be screaming because of the workout we did the other day, probably, Jill. That's good. Yeah, stability ball against the wall is good. Yeah, or lying down. So just changing the angle so you're not putting quite so much forces down is a helpful thing as well. So yeah, I was saying all the vibe on the WhatsApp group, really good. Morning, Donna. And we need to keep that up. And that is what I think, I want you to put in the comments, like, how motivated are you now? 1 to 10, how motivated are you right now? So that I can see where we need to work with. That's all right, Jill. So we've got the food, all those food ideas, which how fast you came back with me, with that shows that you really are trying to try and spice those foods up still staying clean, which is brilliant, really good. And your exercise, you're ticking the boxes, obviously, with the squats, so they're really good as well. So your goals, 7 to 8. Donna, that's fantastic. I love that. Really good, really good. So we know now that we've got the exercise challenge. That seems to work really well. Your mini goals, so that maybe this week you've made those the mini goals. So what we want to do now is, like, we've got that little checklist. Either write it down or have it there mentally if you can remember it all. So we've got your mood lifter Mondays. So what were your mood lifters this week? Are you using any of those? What about your mini goals? What did you choose to do? What are your gratitude for the week? Have you done that as well? And so we're heading towards the mid. Where do you think that you need that boost? Which part of the week do you think that you need to be more mindful about what you're doing? Which days are you difficult one? Jill, 7 to 8 too. That's awesome. Really good. So it takes around, for a lot of people, it takes anything from over 2 months to get into habits. Now, we started this really in, where was it, October for most of us on here. We started in October. So it is, I can honestly see, like, the little tick list of mini goals that is come together. And it's really inspirational. It makes me feel great that you are starting to really get these. I mean, have you changed sleeping patterns? Are you going to bed a bit earlier? Are you more mindful of that? Have you got more energy? Thursday, usually Thursday, okay, but no dip this week. That's fantastic. Yeah, I think that, often for me, it's like Wednesday is the hardest day of the week. I don't know, it just builds up, doesn't it? And then, you're down sort of like a thing, and then you're over the other side. But so on the days, you've just got to be even more mindful. Because Wednesday feels the most fatigued day. And I know that, I've got to really focus on energy then. And also basing around my week, I know that's going to peak to that. I've sort of got it there. That's my weakest day. So what I make sure I'm doing is that, it's almost like you're building up to go into a competition for one day, and it's like, right, I know I've got to really get those sleep times right. I know I've got to be hydrated. It's more the simple things that make an impact on the motivation. It's like when your sleep's wrong and when your hydration is wrong, they make a big difference, because it's that breathlessness when you move, isn't it? And that can be like, oh gosh, and it's fatiguing. So it's getting those right. The little goals are most important. Then we need to, make sure that we've got both feet in, because often when we are feeling like, oh, we're falling on a few things, it's like, do you know what? I haven't got time for this week, so let's just go. Now, hopefully you're getting over that barrier. I mean, I have that on certain work things that I've got. So social media, it's like, oh gosh, and I've got to push through this, and I could go, do you know what? I can't be bothered. And I know that some people feel like that about food and exercise. And obviously it's like that habitually in me, that I don't have that at all. So I want you to all to get to the point where you don't have that at all. And I'm working on that with my work goals, my social media, and my admin, my newsletter. I mean, you'll get a nightly newsletter, but for everyone else, they don't, and I need to push at that. And it's sort of on those things you can go, forget it, I've had enough. And that's what can happen with the food. So what I have to do is say every day, no, you both be fully in this, because if you've got trying to do it with one foot out, you are like, it's easy to take both feet out. So it's like, wake up and both feet in. Another thing that possibly I used to do with work was like in my free time, I wouldn't bother like reading anything, a podcast or anything like that, because I think, oh, I've spoke about this all the time. But again, that's like not having both feet in. So I've changed that in the last like 8, 9 months, 10 months maybe, to make sure I've got it's that I'm living, breathing it, loving it again. And you do, because it's more a case of getting those habits back again and doing it like that. So you've got to look at getting both feet in when you're feeling like you want to run away. No, both feet in, get it in, because it's not like my job. It's not like you could put that down. I can put that down, and I just wouldn't get the flow on social media that I do. As far as health goals go, you can't put that down. We can't put that down because it has a massive effect on our well-being. So, it's more important. It's on a higher value really than what mine is for that, but it's a similar sort of process. So you have to look at regular reviews. Reviews is really important of your goals and progress and what's happening. In business you have to study like the analytics of stuff, and it's the same with your health. We have to look at like, well, how's that serving me? What am I getting back from that? What's the kind of results I'm getting on that? And often it'll be we're too impatient and we're expecting bigger results, and we need to remember that we're just in it for the long haul, and the result is rewarding. And you will see, if you, like Sophie's saying, going to bed at 9:30, you're sleeping all night. I mean, that's right, because there is a point on sleep that you go over tired. We've said that, you've heard that many times, I've felt that many times. You go over tired, you can start to feel it actually. The more that you do tune into your sleep pattern, the more you can recognise that actually, when you're watching something on television maybe or whatever, you start to feel a bit jittery, a bit like, oh, you start to go tired. That's the point. You've got to switch everything off. When you start to feel tired, that's the point when you've got to go, move away and start your nighttime routine. It doesn't matter if it's like an hour earlier than normal. You may be really feeling tired. Don't always need to push it. Don't need to push your sleep to, be getting into bed at like, oh, I usually go to bed at this time and I'm staying up and I'm going to keep that time. You can go with it, go with your flow. It's the same with food and eating. Sometimes I'll be eating my breakfast now and I'll be eating my lunch at 11 o'clock because I'm hungry. But usually then it's like banked up and it feels like, oh yeah, now I don't want my dinner till 6 o'clock. So you have to tune into your instincts and go with your instincts on that. Reviewing your progress. So if you've got your step trackers, your sleep patterns on watches, then just tune into that. Know what's happening with stuff. And these aren't stuff, but remember, we're still keeping around the 15-minute rule on this. It's not taking over your life. It's just keeping the 15-minute rule, and it's part of your life. It is you. It's you. You eat, you breathe, you sleep. It's you. It's us. It's the way that we are. We're just optimizing our health, our nutrition, and then if you are having what you call like a week that you're so tired, then just put it to bed for the week. It's not a write-off for life. We all have like those weeks as well where you've got. I mean, I'm coming up to March. March starts family birthdays. I've got family birthdays from the 29th, and that goes all the way through to the middle of May. It's middle of May, and there's a birthday almost every week. As that happens, it feels like every week. It's probably every 10 days, 2 weeks. And that used to be. It isn't now, but when the kids were little, it would be cake every week, this, that, and the other. But again, they're something that you know, maybe you've got the same, you know that's coming up. So you're planning for that. You know you can have your cake, you can have your cake and eat it. You've just got to understand what calories are going in then. So again, it's switching to your the fitness pal. And a lot of people that we withdraw from that when we have the big days. We tend to withdraw from my fitness pal. Now I'm not writing that down, but no, it's the best time to write it down. It really is, because it becomes more aware, and it's not to to feel guilty about or anything like that. It's just that making us aware of actually, all right, yeah, that's like 400 calories a slice of cake, yeah, okay, all right, and there's a couple of glasses of wine, or whatever, that's like 700 calories on that altogether, or whatever. But it's just being more aware rather than shying away from it. And this is having a healthy attitude to food and drink. Some people would say, like, it's obsessive tracking, it's obsessive. Now, for some people, they can take it obsessive, as in it's affecting the mood. So if it affects your mood, don't do it, all right? Because we don't want anything to be affecting mood. It's like I ditched the scales, like I said to you. I ditched the scales years ago, chasing the 3 or 4 or 5 pounds on, off, worrying, thinking about the water and not understanding or not. Yeah, you understand, but it's like, do you know what? You still give yourself a kick for like 3 or 4 or 5 pounds or whatever. And so you've got to understand that, there's fluctuations in your body. So if things like that affect your mood, there is a way you've got to track those. So I've ditched the scales to track the food diary, which worked loads better for me, because all of a sudden clothes that were feeling tight didn't feel tight anymore. I fit in my clothes a lot easier. I took the stress out of weight loss. That's what you've got to do. There's no stress in it. You don't need the stress in it. So taking the stress out of it is the massive one, and just it all becoming nice and normal. But being mindful and knowing what's making us feel amazing. Because do you know that there is so many people in this world that have no idea what feeling well feels like. Their level of feeling well is down there from how high it can actually be. Yeah. And I mean, I know that because I used to be, I'm still healthy, but I have been even fitter, obviously, in the past. I've been even fitter, and that feeling of like awesome wellness is just phenomenal, And what can I do more? Build my stamina up more. Build more and more stamina up. That's how I can feel even fitter, stronger. Build more stamina up. But, I do think that as time goes on, there's one thing that we do need as time goes on is probably more rest phases between things. So, as opposed to like 15, 20 years ago. So we've got to look at that, taking the rest, and observing the body. If it's creating inflammation, it's like the knee thing at the moment. If your knees, there's a difference between delayed onset muscle soreness, when they feel a little bit tight, sore, but then there's an inflammatory response as well. Inflammatory, you will know the difference. The inflammatory is totally different. Inflamed joints, if you have inflamed joints, you can get that feeling all over the body. So when that happens, don't push through, pull back. And I always think water is the best place for us when we're feeling inflamed like that. And so if you can get in a pool, because it is the perfect response for that. And if you can do some light exercise, mobility work, aqua, that type of thing is the best thing for that inflammation. Obviously, a nice warm bath is another way, but it's good to move through it if you can. So the pool is just phenomenal. I love it. So let's leave it there because we're going over 15-minute rule. And let's have a good day. How do we feel? Keep that motivation up there. Let's go. And drop it into the messages in WhatsApp. Let's see if you're feeling like you need some boost. Let's see how we can do that. But go back to the basics. It's mood lifters, gratitude, mini goals, don't put too much. You might find that some days, and it's forward planning ahead, always thinking planning ahead, but recognizing. So when I ran a marathon, I'd look ahead and I'd see the incline, slow incline. I'd go in mentally, yeah, there's an incline there. And I know that's going to make me breathless. It's going to make me breathless, but when I get to the top of that hill, my breath is going to recover quite quickly. And it's going to recover quickly because I'm fit. And then I'm going to be going downhill because there's always a downhill after. And it's not that dissimilar to the way that when we are having one of those weeks, that we're climbing up that hill, visualize it, know your challenge ahead. That's the main thing. And then you can take it and go for it over the other side. All right, have a great day. Good. Keep that motivation, guys. Love it.